Hello, it's Chris Bowling.
Chris Beyer.
We are CB Squared, part 6.
We've made it.
Marathon.
We have made it. Only 2 costume changes, and we are there. So yeah, Chris. I mean, it's been a fun journey. You know, as we've shared, working with direct primary care, working with second opinions, talking about direct contracting with different providers, looking at dual plan options, putting things together, talking about ways to improve pharmacy spend and provide better and healthier employee options. And then this week we are going to talk about kind of that last of 6. But again, we could go on and on with, like we said, almost 50. But
Right.
Number 6 is really talking about targeted wellness and how we can really impact the health of the employees and their families, in addition to finding ways to help the employer plan save money. Chris, you are definitely older than me. You've been in this business longer than me. I'm going to give you the respect of and seniority to tell me, what have you seen in the world of wellness going back all these years?
Yeah, that's a polite way of saying you old fart.
Yes.
You pass some wisdom on, right?
Oh.
Well,
Sorry, buddy.
Go ahead. It's the sad truth. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit more bald and bald. So I try to do this, all the time, so nobody sees my baldness. All right, back on track, right? Okay.
Wellness. What have you seen?
I have been on this wagon, off this wagon, back on this wagon. Wellness it's just complicated, right? I mean, I've been on, big pro of let's do health screenings and let's do health risk assessments. And at the end of the day, we realized people looked at it, threw it in the garbage, and then you didn't really address it for 12 months. Well, Then we went to coaching. Let's risk these high risk. You're doing coaching every month. You know what? That had some really good outcomes. I have to say that I despised meeting with my health coach every month so much that I changed some habits so I didn't have to freaking meet with her every month. So
yes. Change behavior because it's obnoxious to have to do. Yeah.
So, again, it's not that we're not fans of this. It's just, it gets stale quick.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Chris, you would probably agree, is wellness has to be evolving. If not, it gets stale and nobody does anything. Well, then
there's so many incentives built into that. And we naturally, as humans, are going to find a way to game the system. I mean, you think about it. I'm going to put this incentive out there for you to walk a bunch of steps. And then here you see people committing fraud by putting their fitness tracker on a fan, and like,
you can't do that.
No, don't do that. But it has to be a new step, new goal, because you will get stale and people will find ways to take advantage of that system. So it can't be the same thing over and over. That it just naturally has to.
Yeah. So, then we went into a huge push about outcomes based, right? Well, then, oh my gosh, just to stay up with that. And again, it's not that I'm not a fan of it. It's just, ADA, EEOC has been cracking down on these programs. Doesn't mean you can't do it. But, lately, and again, it's really depending on the employer, right, Chris? I mean, we talk about this all the time. Just because we have an idea doesn't mean it fits for everyone. But where we have seen the highest performing employers start to have some impact is a targeted program.
Yes.
And what I love about a targeted program is you can actually put an ROI to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which
has been very difficult with these others.
Horrible. It's horrible. So we have a client that we're looking at their drug spend, and it's all diabetics. I mean, it's, hundreds of thousands of dollars is being spent on our diabetics. Well, there are some great programs out there that can literally reverse type 2 diabetes within a certain period of time. I can put an ROI to that. I can literally look at my drug spend every month and say, is it going down? So that's only one example about a targeted wellness plan. But you've also been looking at, not just looking, but, obviously implementing some other programs that aren't just diabetic driven.
No, it's going back to some of the basic things of your wellness visit is already covered at 100%. Let's incentivize you to have your wellness visit. We've certainly have those employers that are, focused on smoking cessation, but it's less the penalty now and more, here's the option to quit. Here's an incentive for you to quit.
Right.
We're going to pay for the smoking cessation, and we're going to give you a bonus for doing so. And again, all of this conversation has been, how do we make it more of an incentive, less of the stick and more of the carrot for the employees? But it's just little programs like this that we're starting to see be measured well. But I have clients, you have clients that have gone and done the RFP for the major wellness program.
Oh yeah.
And they realize it's thousands of dollars, to put this in place, and it's hard to measure, when sometimes we can do these little tiny programs that have a bigger impact. But it's all back to who you are as an organization, how your employees respond to change. That has to be taken into account before you put a program in place.
We have one going in next month that's really cool. It's a large municipality, and it's all DNA driven. So they actually pull your DNA, and where this is going is they've determined that you could be on a drug that's actually having the adverse effect of what you think. And we ran a test case, and we were fortunate enough that somebody came forward and said, I've had multiple stents, heart, limbs, and I'm on Plavix, and I'm on this, and I'm on that. So they ran this whole pharmacogenics program, determined that 2 of his drugs were having the adverse effect of what they should be doing for him, which is causing this poor man to have a stent done almost every single year. So, I mean, again, we can get so targeted. What's cool about that is that program we can also bring into a weight management program. So they're looking at, how does my body break down carbs? How does it break down sugar?
Yeah.
So
it's going to differ for everyone. And it's not, well, you've got to be this certain weight. It's, how do we make you healthy?
Yeah. My wife gets pissed that I can drop weight like that. I mean, I could literally say, I'm only going to have 1 Kit Kat today versus 2, and I'll drop 5 pounds in like 3 weeks. And it just irritates the crap out of her. Well, it's simple. It's how my body can break down food. And granted, for all of everyone else out there, we know males have an advantage of losing weight quick. I mean, it's just, muscle burns fat better than anything. And males,
but it's targeted. It's saying we're going to make it work for that organization. And Chris, as we've gone through all 6 of these topics and many more to share, I just think that, if there's an employer, a CFO, HR director that's been watching these, and, again, nothing is good or bad, better or worse, except by comparison. If they have not had their program compared to the highest performers, even if they're not in a position maybe to change their consultant yet, and they just want to talk through, what does it mean to be high performing? We welcome those meetings, because sometimes that does lead to us providing enough ideas to be hired, but often it just helps that organization confirm that they are doing things that are good, or sometimes they realize, wow, we're way off. We had no idea what was outside of our own viewpoint. So,
well, and we learned something from those meetings too, is that we may pick up something that an employer is doing in a different region. We're like, man, we haven't thought of that. So, we gain from these conversations as well.
So CB Squared would enjoy talking with you if you're an employer, comparing you to the highest performers, learning what you're doing, sharing those ideas. Feel free to reach out to us, comment below, shoot us a direct message, and we'll get something scheduled. We hope you've enjoyed our 6-part series on what the highest performers are doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you. We'll see you.